Yo, what's up? It's the Heavyist podcast, weekly worship at the altar of radness. We're here in the throes of Myspace Deathcore Summer. Alex is with us once more. Gary's here. You've got a lovely red hat on, Gary. I love that hat.
Thanks, man. I think I might have wore it last week, but you know.
Looks like velvet.
That's all right.
It does. What?
Velvet. Hella comfortable, guy.
I'm not.
We're here with
the sweatiest podcast this week. Blimey.
It's red, isn't it?
It truly is Myspace Deathcore Summer, dudes.
It is.
It is
sure
glorious. The weather is really switched on in England.
A nice pop.
Yo. The freeze pops. Yes, bro. Mate, I need to get the freeze pops in.
Mate, it's time. It is time.
Mate, big old matchup today, boys. This is a absolute ripper. This matchup is bananas. This matchup has made me reconsider so many things I thought, so many things I held dear, it's bananas. I never thought this would be so close. I never thought one of the albums that I literally would hold in my top 10 of all time could stand a chance to get just decimated. But we're going to have to talk about it, boys. We're talking about Bring Me the Horizon, Count Your Blessings, and we're talking about All Shall Perish as The Price of Existence. Both albums, it's actually worked out quite well because last week there were 2007 albums. Both of these albums were 2006.
Were they released in the same week again like last time?
I didn't check that, but I should have. That was ridiculous. So yeah, this is nice. It's good that we're assessing the things that are sort of similar in their time, and it's nicer to compare things like that, isn't it? Because a lot's changed in a couple of years, and studio trickery and bits and bobs get a bit better. If we were going at something that's like 2009 versus 2005, the
influences on everybody will change.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Bring Me the Horizon, Count Your Blessings came out in 2006 on Visible Noise in the UK and Earache Records in the US, produced by Dan Sprigg. Where do you even start talking about Bring Me the Horizon, right? At this point in time, Bring Me the Horizon were one of just the most exciting acts on the entire planet. They came hot off the heels of an EP that permeated every single MySpace profile known to man. They were a brilliant shining star in the UK heavy scene. They were incredibly creative and there was so much character in them, and they created this EP that just, when we're talking about this genre, this is a genre that was very much born at this time. These things that we're talking about, we're not talking about a thing that was 25 years long and comparing, like, this was that EP. I can't even sort of articulate how much that permeated just everybody's life. Like, you couldn't move for seeing a picture of Ollie Sykes or a picture of that EP or it was absolutely massive and deservedly so. So this was their first debut. Of course. That's ridiculous.
I had to resist the urge to pull you up on that.
Yeah, this was their debut album, and it's been an absolute pleasure listening to it, boys. Where do we all stand on them? Obviously, we probably all have sort of similar trajectories with them, but
we're all of a certain age where This Is What the Edge of Your Seat was made for was very formative. When we were talking in the intro to this whole series about EPs, we mentioned like Doom and Welcome to Sludge City. We kind of forgot that one, but that one was very, very, very important also.
Mm-hmm.
And the I Hate All My Friends beatdown used to just be the screensaver to my brain for a long time. They were one of the bands who made MySpace like a legitimate place to find talent for record executives, A&R people, etc. Them and like Enter Shikari, and obviously there was like the whole new rave scene and all that kind of happened, but it kind of became like a breeding ground for talent, especially in the UK. Like, people were basically just roaming MySpace looking for the next big thing, And I mean, on paper, Bring Me the Horizon at the time you'd never have pegged them to become the band that they are. I don't think they were very talented, and but they just blew up so quickly and so bloody massively.
Yeah, and they managed to stay at the cutting edge. They didn't drop off. They I think more so than any other band I know of, managed to stay cutting edge right into their late career. I mean, they're still going and they're still doing it.
Still now.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will about whatever the music they make now, they're still there. They're still the band that everybody else. They take a step, and then everybody else takes that step behind them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I thought that whilst we've said about Suicide Silence's Cleansing being like the kind of figurehead for deathcore or like the sound, I think Bring Me the Horizon were the figurehead for the look and the scene, and maybe even for the sound before the Cleansing, because like I know a lot of people will complain because obviously there's the age old fucking fight between older school metalheads and like scene kids, but
without the whole Bring Me the Hairspray thing and all that kind of like
without a scene, live music fucking crumbles. Like it don't work.
Yeah.
You don't have it, and that's like, and I think that first EP and then this album, it brought death metal to young people, and with
100%.
With metal being as like gatekeepy as it tends to be, for better or worse, this was like that death metal sound and like the energy that came with it, which obviously we'll talk a bit more about when we get into like the songs and that, but the energy and like the lyrical content, as well as the entire like aesthetic thing that they brought death metal to like quite young teenagers, and I think that's like super important and like why they did so well.
Yeah, people were like, they were calling things metal, like they were using metal like a term. Like there was like a little thing, wasn't it? It was like more metal than your mum's kettle. I think that was like their little tagline on MySpace, and that was like that thing was just like adopted, like, and it just sort of permeated the scene, and everyone was like, yeah, this is metal, and metal, like just really started using the word metal as opposed to like metalcore. I think like it was really, really cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
Like,
and then Ollie as the kind of frontman, he created what essentially became the scene kid. I think, like the snakebite tattoos, the black fringe, the snakebite tattoo, the snakebite piercings, and covering yourself in tattoos. I think that became like the look because of him, because of Ollie Sykes. Like I'm sure there were, you could look at like Bleeding Through, and there's plenty of bands that were doing it, but he kind of made it like the most popular thing to do.
Yeah,
it was him and Sonny from First to Last were like, if you went on any girl's profile, there was a picture of either one or probably both of them. Like it was,
with a bracket and a 3.
Yeah, 100%. And it was that very, very, that look.
He had us all rummaging through the girls' jeans section in Primark, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was something
ordering the youth larges.
They did the first because obviously around this time, it's when I think it was the summer holiday between my last year of school and my first year of college, which for our American listeners, college means something different here. It's basically grade 12 and 13 before you go to uni and you do it's different. Sometimes they're on the same site as your school, sometimes they're different. And it's where you do your fucking A-levels and that. But in that summer and then that first year of college was like my awakening into the scene that then became like my scene, the one that I was a part of. And it again, this was before deathcore was being thrown around as a term. And I think so and like there was bands like I was thinking about some today that are like that like no one will know them. Like bands like Captivate, Eradicate, Throw the Pestilence, The Cure for Necrosis, all like tiny bands and stuff. They're all in their profile on MySpace. It'd have the classic death metal and grindcore, because that's how you knew a band was deathcore before deathcore was flying around. It said death metal and grindcore in a thing, and they were like one of the first bands that was like actually getting big and wasn't just like a local band on MySpace. And hearing some of those tracks from like that first EP and then from this album were like some of the my first like dip into deathcore. I'm pretty sure I heard like all of that before I even started looking on like the fucking top 10 most brutal breakdown videos on YouTube and stuff. Like it's like
like I was definitely listening to your sort of like your Azraels, your Clone de Fragiles and stuff,
Yeah.
but they necessarily weren't like as heavy as what Bring Me was doing. Bring Me at that time just took the dial and just made it crazy heavy.
Yeah, they were like kind of tied in with that. Like, it was like, what would you describe the sound of like bands like Clone the Fragile and Azrael and stuff? Because I had a couple of friends that were like super into like that specific sound, and it was definitely like it was like metal with like a heavy post-hardcore kind of influence on it, wasn't it? Whereas they went just like straight up, like almost technical death metal, and it was just fantastic.
I feel like Azrael was sort of almost like it was like almost metalcore with almost post-hardcore in it. Just there was so much sort of scale to it, but it's like melodic hardcore maybe.
Yeah, that term got thrown around quite a bit, didn't it? Back in around the same time as deathcore was coming up, melodic hardcore was like in the UK. That was the other big genre for heavy music to be into.
And then also Paris, The Price of Existence came out. Also in 2006, it came out on Nuclear Blast. It's also their debut full length, and this album has never really left my ear rolls. This is something that I consider one of the peak of heavy music. I think its production stands up. I almost don't want to get into it too much now, really, like because I think I want to save it and I don't really think it's hard to sort of contextualize All Shall Perish against Bring Me in that time, because Bring Me's Bring Me's presence was just unreal. It was
especially as three dudes in the UK. Like it's
a
hard
they were a
one to
UK
do,
band.
Yeah, it might be different because a lot of the bands that I've like toured with and stuff, they played with Bring Me the Horizon in the early days. You know, when they first started doing their early tours and stuff. And a lot of them don't have nice things to say about it.
Yeah, they were known as a nightmare, weren't they? Like, drunk all the time and like obnoxious and getting in trouble. And
totally. They were saying that like he was just an absolute ket lunatic. Like I've heard like loads of like bad stuff about him, but you know.
Yeah. And I feel like the American view of Bring Me the Horizon is and must be so different to us three UK lads. Like, because obviously, like they did break it out over there, but it can't have been the same as it was here. Like, there's no way it could be.
No, it was homegrown talent. It was exciting. You could see them. Like, I remember seeing Bring Me support Bleeding Through.
Oh, into that.
And it was fantastic. Like,
Ollie was dressed as Scooby Doo, wasn't he? Because it was Halloween.
Yeah, they hadn't released the. It was when the EP had come out, so it was just pure buzz on the EP.
Yeah.
And I remember going, and my mate got his wrist broken in the pit to Bring Me. Not even the Bleeding Through pit, but the Bring Me pit. He broke his wrist.
I remember there's this video floating around that's it's from around the time the EP was out, and it's in this venue in Hull, which doesn't exist anymore, called Ringside, which was this tiny little fucking dive venue, which is where I saw all the fucking deathcore bands that came through. I saw them there. And he's in these tiny, like pink short shorts, and like with a massive fringe of that. And it's like you know, it looks like it's filmed on a potato, but like that was it. You could go and see him, like.
Yeah. So let's get into the tracks, man. First of all, we're going to start with the songs. So, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon, Count Your Blessings. This record, it is just absolutely savage. Like, Pray for Plagues. Pray for Plagues is sitting at like 25 million streams. Wow. I doubt we'll talk about any other song in this matchup that will come anywhere near to 25 million. Just as a comparison, Wage Slaves on All Shall Perish is at 12 million right now. There's just so many brilliant, iconic tracks in this record. Yeah, dude. Just opens with Pray for Plagues to tell Slater not to wash his dick. There's a flair and cheekiness and like explosive energy that is just unmatched. And I was just saying to Alex before we started that I've had such a good time like revisiting this record with, because you know we've all probably had a similar trajectory with liking the band, where we were into it really young, and then it evolved past what we enjoyed, and then you sort of get a bit jaded, and you sort of like go, oh, that's not for me, anymore. I don't like that mainstream band. But so sort of approaching this record with a completely sort of fresh mind, just like trying to just appreciate it for what it is. Like I have had a fucking blast listening to this record. It's so, you can just see like why they became who they are, like the flourishes, and I also feel like there was loads of I probably didn't pick up on it back then, but like I feel like loads of like the guitar, like the leads and the like solo flourishes are really Atreyu, like really Atreyu. Like
Mate,
they could be parts from Atreyu.
Absolutely.
Record, right?
Well, it's something I didn't, because I don't think I've listened to this whole album in full for many years.
Yeah, I think it's 15 years at least since I've listened to it.
It's got to have been. But you look at all the pictures and you see Lee Mallier, and he's pretty much always got either like an Iron Maiden shirt on or a Judas Priest shirt or something. He's clearly bang into like classic heavy metal. And this is like way before the time you could buy a Motorhead shirt in Primark. Like this was, if you were into that stuff, you were into it. It wasn't just like ironically wearing it because it looked cool. And he shreds the fuck out of this record. Like he's a proper like scholar of his instrument, and as a result, like this is so much more technical and sort of progressive than I ever remembered it being. I was completely like, fuck, am I listening to the right record? What have I done? Like I can't, I just remember it just being like loads of beatdowns and just Ollie kind of making silly, like doing silly little things like going move over the top. Like I didn't remember how much fucking shreddy it actually is. This record fucking rips.
It really is like super metal. I know there's so many people that will recoil at that, but it's very fucking metal. I noticed there's even like death and roll, and there's thrash in there and everything. And
loads of
thrash. You don't remember that
well.
when you're young because you haven't really got a fucking clue what you're talking about. But
no,
listening back to it as as an adult, it's like fucking hell. There's so much going on in it. So as you said, so much energy, and like it really brought like I've said it like loads of times, but like deathcore was a youth genre. And it had like a youthful sound. It was like you could get hype about the songs, and especially with them all being so catchy and having like I won't go so far as to say like a pop hook, but they had a catchy hook.
He knew from day one how to make these brilliant moments like that I whispered in her ear, fear me for I am death. That like hooky moment, like every track is just full of these brilliant hooks that are just really cool and interesting and cheeky, and not overly concerned with just being sort of grotesque and like using a sort of a very sort of tropey death metal vernacular. Like it's it's something you could get behind, like these cool things that there's 100 things on this record that could be written on the back of a t-shirt and that would sell out in a minute. Like
a lot of the lyrics are like, they're not just like grotesque, like Cannibal Corpse lyrics. As much as I love that shit, like they were like young people lyrics. Like a lot of it is like, well, there's the early fucking deathcore misogyny, which I've got like a lot to say about, but like that ties into this like youthful thing. Like I was thinking about this earlier when I was listening, like why was there so much of that in it? And it's because it was a youth genre. And if you're like a regular ass person that's not really had too much traumatic shit happen in your life, what fucking hurts more than than all the bullshit that comes with breaking up with like your first love? It's unbearable. So young people, they'll put that into a track, and like thankfully most people realize that can separate fiction from reality, so they don't go out there and start murdering prostitutes. It's just a song, and it's something you can get like a bit of catharsis from it. You're like, oh, somebody else felt like that as well. But it isn't just all songs about like wizards and fucking murdering people and stuff.
It's also shock value, isn't it? Like shock value is something that you really like. When you're a kid, you're trying to push buttons and you're trying to like wind people up, and especially when you're a band like Bring Me the Horizon in the metal sphere, getting shit for the way you look and being like, having swoopy fringes and all that kind of stuff, to just push those buttons for those old school metalheads even more. Destroyed, like,
what people are ragging you for, get on board with that, because that's the only way you win.
And it's got to be said that it's kind of like this is at like the back end of like everyone was like well into emo just before this, right? That was the big thing, and like in that it's all heartbreak and being sad, and this is taking those same familiar territories lyrically but just twisting them into a sinister like narrative, and it's
more
like
aggressive.
it's all those things that people could relate to and were buying into already, and it's just like, well, no, like, oh yeah, this is like my girlfriend's broken up with me. Instead of crying about it, I'm probably going to murder her and murder a lot of people. Like,
or I'm going to whisper in her ear that I'm dead.
Yeah, it's just it's proper. Like, there's like metalcore banger energy throughout it as well. There's just hooks everywhere, chorus breakdowns, and it's not just heavy. It's feels like unhinged and relatable. It's like massively crowd like friendly. Like all of these tracks, you just remember them just absolutely popping off live.
But like,
every
despite it being like all over the place and quite chaotic, it still keeps that kind of like crowd interaction as part of it. Like that's like even listening back through it.
Yeah,
you're like, wow, there's so much going on, and this really is all over the place. But like, unlike with a lot of like more technical stuff, it's you're still fucking sold on it. You're waiting for the bit that you can get involved with. And that's a skill. That's like really a skill. I just need to quickly mention the fucking psych, like that. Like what is more fucking like fucking youth culture forward than just shouting that like in the middle of a fucking track? Like, it's amazing.
There's the bit in Off the Hazy as well where they do the thing where they like get gang chant the beatdown rhythm before it happens. Like, I thought because I used to be in a band where we did that, and then like A Day to Remember released that song which starts the same way, and I was like, they've ripped us off. And that turns out we ripped Bring Me the Horizon off, and we just forgot about it. I didn't realize that was their idea first, but that and like there's a bit of Medusa where Ollie does a vocal that really sound, like the way that he changed his sound really distinctly into Suicide Season, and he had that much more like yelped kind of delivery that was in there. There's like a passage in Medusa, it's like 4 bars, where he dips into that sound, and I kind of like, oh shit, they must. You just imagine in the studio where he did it, and everyone in the band went, what just happened? What was that? What did you just do? More of that, please. And he's like, right, don't worry. I was going up there. It's going up there, boys. I'll keep that one for later. Like, it's so exciting listening back to this record and just be like, oh my God, it wasn't just like a moment in time. Like, I can imagine your parents look back on some of the music they listened to in the 80s and be like, God, we love this. And it was so embarrassing. But actually, this is actually legit. It's not like really embarrassing. It's actually really good still.
Yeah, just rips.
It got buried with so much of the fucking bullshit culture war. Like, they probably got it harder than anybody else. So, like, a lot of people really just shelve it. And it's like, when you come back to it, like, in a scholarly fashion, as we have today, like, you can really enjoy it. Because, like, again, like, I do miss the way I heard music when I was younger. Like, I really miss it, because I can't hear it that way anymore. But there is benefits to that change, isn't there? I wish I could hear it as I did. But now, hearing it this way, I can actually see it was better than how I heard it before. Like,
coming at it now, like just knowing what you know and appreciating and just sort of like understanding what's going on with current heavy music and like what bands are putting out and stuff like that. And you're like, mate, if this came out today, it would probably be album of the year. It would be like, it would still kill.
Well, if you listen to Cauldron, this is that band Cauldron.
Cauldron.
Maybe not musically, but definitely vocally, he sounds exactly like this era, Ollie Sykes. And I remember hearing it for first time, I was like, yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're proper savage. Anything else more on songs for them, or should we go into Also Perish?
Just real quick, one of my favourite bits, it's only like 2 bars of like guitar, but the beginning of fucking Stevie Wonder, where it does that that bit where like, is it, I'm obviously not a fucking musician, so I'll probably get it wrong, but it feels like it's a very slight tempo change midway through the bit, where it's like it just like fucking like down to this bit. It's just so heavy.
It's I think they call it like a push, so it's like a one bar that's slightly slower than the rest, and it's really cool, and that takes a lot of like skill to pull that off, especially when you try and do it live, because that's tough. There's like loads. There's like Tell Slater Not to Wash His Disc has got the bit where it goes into like a 3/4 gallop, which is really, really cool. Like, it made me think like Rose of Sharon. It's just that, when but like they're just that different time signature just slapped in the middle. It just sounds so cool in that moment. Like, yeah, there's just so much cool shit going on in this record.
It's just there's so many because the problem with cause obviously in every one of these that we've done so far, I've complained about the gallopy metalcore riffs, and this is full of them. But they don't bother me in this because they don't fall prey to what a lot of these ones do that I don't like, is where they don't change at all. So by the time it's getting to the end of it and you've heard that same thing 4 times, I'm like praying for it to come to an end, because it's like, surely other people can hear that this is actually kind of monotonous, no matter how technical it is. But they don't do it. Like the riffs are so interesting, and they're like they change. There's so much like unexpected little flourishes that just keep it going.
Definitely,
that energy is used more as a flourish. It's more as something that like it takes you to the next part. It's not, they don't really lean on those sort of things, and it makes it interesting for that. Right, all shall perish. The songs, mate. The songs.
This is definitely the most technical record in our bracket, isn't it? This is so techie.
This is just the perfect technical, like tech deathcore coming together just to create just fucking violence, mate. Eradication, unreal. Like, there are so many moments throughout this record that would just be completely burned into me. Like, I remember you saying, Gary, in that first one, that like, as I can't remember what record it was. I don't think it was the As Blood Run Black.
Yeah,
it was the Allegiance. But mate, this record, it's never really left my rotation. It's been something that I have constantly enjoyed. It was I still got it on CD. And whenever I'm not really sure or like just out of what to listen to lately, I just stick it on. And you go from Eradication into Wage Slaves, and it's just 2 of the best fucking tracks ever written. They are so insanely heavy. Like, they really do throw, like, there's like emotional terror like in this record. It's so weird, this one, that we're going to be it feels like such an odd comparison, because this is like technical brilliance, like above so many other records. And then you're just I need to understand how we can properly compare these records. And I needed you to talk it out to you guys, so I can really sort of get my head around what we're gonna call winners here.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because this is so insanely technically proficient, and it's not just a band full of kids who watch YouTube videos to learn how to play guitar. It's like just some of the most outstanding musicians in their field coming together. It feels a bit mean to kind of compare, but I will say, like, Wage Slaves is one of the sickest tunes going. Like that, like, I love a guitar riff that sounds like it's got a stutter, and it's like and it's just these little sort of like little bits of riff that kind of just sort of keep sneaking out, and you get to like No Business to Be Done on a Dead Planet, which is like, holy crap, what a tune. That's like, the drums sound like they were just recorded a load of machine guns. You know that guy on Instagram who does the guns, gun drummer or whatever he called it. Like, this was where he got that idea, this album, because it's just it's ridiculous how intense it gets.
That song just doesn't let up right from the get-go either. No. You get lost in that initial riff, and then that riff evolves and carries on going right up to the breakdown, and it's just, you really do you really do get lost in it. And that breakdown's like fantastic. And like, I think if it went on for as long as it did without the lead or that bass break, it'd be a bit monotonous. But everything they do around that breakdown is fantastic. Like, the way that the instruments, they feel like they're sneaking around it and like peeking out around, like this around the BD, and like obviously the bass break's amazing, and there's another one later on which like really stood out to me. But this No Business as like a whole is just such a great track. But like with Eradication, I think the first thing that really stands out to you is the fucking incredible control Hemida has over his vocals.
Oh.
It is so impressive. It's literally like, to me, it's like watching an opera singer have screams. His control is absolutely spot on. And like, having seen it live, you can do it. It's real fucking good.
Yeah, the track that gets me always, and it used to be something that we and my mates at college would just like share headphones and sit down and smoke a rollie and like just laugh at how brilliant the opening to True Beast is with the breeze. It's just unreal. It's unmatched, mate. It's stellar. This thing is just so technically impressive, and it's just so oppressive as well. Like it's ungodly. Like if this album came out today, it would be the best thing that's released all year. I know I just said that about Bring Me, and this it's really hard. These albums are just so fantastically fucking brilliant, but they're just totally different. It's really hard to put them.
That's interesting you said that, because on listening to it, I don't feel like musically they're too dissimilar from each other. Like I felt like a lot of the riffs. I'm not saying that they were the same, but they're not so dissimilar that they sound like two completely different ends of deathcore at the minute. But they were the types of death metal that they were taking from in their influences are obviously from like a similar place.
I guess it's more that like Bring Me is sort of like hooky and full of character and chaos, and this is just like proper technical proficiency and brilliance, and it's still still very hooky, still phenomenal beat downs. I feel like it's I need to understand what you guys are thinking and who's going to win the songs on this.
I mean, you could argue that All Shall Perish is a bit more clinical, but then when you've got Eddie Hermedia over the top of it, he kind of brings the emotion and the feeling back into it, whereas like Bring Me the Horizon is kind of all emotion and feel, almost to the point where it's like overwhelming. Like it's like they're obviously really, really, really young, and they're just throwing everything at it at once. And I think like honestly, like I was really worried about actually having to sit and decide between these ones right now, because I don't know where I'm going with it at all. I honestly don't know, because like the almost the more objective opinion is obviously All Shall Perish has got the better songs because of how insanely technical and proficient everything is, and how like perfectly put together it is. But almost that opposite argument could almost be why Bring Me the Horizon has the best record, because it's so real, and it's so like filled with just piss and vinegar. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of these, like they're just so excited, so happy to be making music together, and just it's so sort of fizzy and exciting.
But what I'd say to that is, because I think this is why you need me in here.
Yeah,
you two obviously fucking rushed off this album. I'm not that arsed about it. So I'll bring my criticism forward. Then you can see what you think about it. Just really quick, whilst we're on tracks.
Yeah,
the black metal in Prisoner of War.
Yeah,
that is fucking great. I love that. I love those weird kind of like echoey vocal bits that he does in it. Like that's really cool. I think that really stood out to me. But like my main sort of gripe with it is, I've got a couple, but the problem with like technical metal is not with all of them. Obviously, there's people that manage this, but a problem with technical metal is that it lacks emotion, and when it lacks emotion, it tends to lack atmosphere as well. And with a lot of the leads in this, whilst they're like kind of cool, when you've heard 10 of them, and they only feel like kind of emotive, but the leads never really kind of like get to where like this like emotional peak that I'm after. They never kind of really reach it. And again, like I think when we're talking about the album as a whole, whilst this has some like absolute bangers on it, obviously like Wage Slaves, probably one of the most iconic deathcore songs ever. They really do fall back on the same kind of tricks in every single song. Like I wouldn't be able to point out any of the songs that weren't singles off this. I won't be able to name them if you showed them to me. And I've listened to this album fucking heaps over the years. I won't be able to tell you. Like, I'll be able to tell you that it was Prisoners of War when that black metal bit popped up, or I'll be able to tell you the beginning, like Wage Slaves, or I could probably point out No Business, because that's absolutely fucking mint. But it's they fall back on the same kind of types of riffs. So when you, as a whole, I found this album to be a bit of a fucking chore to get through, because it feels like I'm listening to the same song over and over. Whereas when like Bring Me the Horizon, they whilst they're on the edge of doing it, because as I said, they're not too dissimilar musically. Their riffs are just a bit more interesting, and the flourishes that they have on them are a bit more interesting. And when you combine that with how hooky it is, I think that puts it like a full head above this one. Like, they are technical and they are really, really good, and like as you said, almost like clinically technical. But when that is all you have, and I think it really is all they have in this, albums that have more character to them end up being better, more like more inspiration albums for like the people to come.
Okay. I mean, I would say that the sort of my counterpoint to that would be that, like, I think, and this is moving into performances now, but like, I think that Eddie's vocals are just an absolute gold standard, and every emotion on this is displayed. Like, he dramatizes this really dense technical brilliance with his just insane highs, insane gutturals. Like, he just pulls off absolutely everything, and I feel it just really ties.
I would completely agree with you there. I think I don't think what I've said applies to the vocals, but only to the vocals. I think he is far and away a better vocalist than Ollie, and
hot take.
His control never makes him sound clinical. It's like very, very precise, but as you said, he can summon all of these different emotions through the control that he has. And he is a better vocalist. He's technically a better vocalist, and that in general does make you just a better vocalist. Like, in general, there's some people that they really go all over the place with their vocals, and it's not technically proficient, like Lord Wayne from Cryptopsy and stuff. But that played to it, and that made it sound better. But generally, that isn't the case. And I think whilst Ollie's vocals are like super characterful, obviously Eddie's better. Like, obviously, but then does that character mean more? I think in a lot of cases it does. It's really hard to say.
It does, yeah. So let's call it a draw on the songs, and then if we're talking about performances, Ollie's vocals on this record are really just interestingly unhinged. They're very raw. It feels like he's gnashing. It feels like he's about to evolve into friggin' George Clark or something. It's like George Clark before he knew what he was up to. Really cool high pitches and the shrieks and the gutturals and the lows on this record just sound a bit pants listening to it now. Like, it just sound like they were recorded like off a phone in a shower or something. Like, some of them, there's no weight to them.
Like, you can tell that he's dropping it when he's recording it. Like,
yeah, it sounds like, and as cool as I think all the highs are, and the sort of the character that you can inject into it, I think, performance wise, I definitely there's absolutely full of full of personality, and it's very raw, and it's sort of charming.
Definitely.
But Eddie's just, it's a gold standard record. Like, you could, and it's, this is like Eddie Hamida on his first fucking full length record, just laying down the absolute Bible of death metal vocals. The range is bananas. The range is bananas.
You can see why when it came time to replace the vocalist for Suicide Silence, Eddie was the guy who got the call, because he is just like we were saying, when you were saying with the songs, like, maybe they're clinical, but Eddie's kind of the kind of the nice finish over the top of it that just makes it all have like a nice contour and just make you feel something while you're listening to it. Whereas Ollie Sykes kind of coming at this more like, I've heard Trevor Stannard, I can pull this off. And let's be honest, he's definitely a better businessman than he is a vocalist, isn't he? Like,
for sure.
But you can't fault the guy for trying, can you?
Lyrically,
he's
the
brilliant.
Brilliant.
That's it. But I think that kind of just comes further more into the businessman side of it. He knows what's gonna catch people. The lyric, you don't necessarily feel like the lyrics are coming from an emotional place. They're coming from a place of, people are going to think this sounds cool. But having said that, like Lee Malia is so good. He's just such an incredible lead guitarist, and I think he's the best guitarist on display across the two albums. Honestly, like you listen to it, and I had to look it up because I was like, I'm so sure that like most of Bring Me the Horizon now aren't the guys who were in Bring Me the Horizon, but they bloody are. Like Lee, Ollie, and then there's two guys called Matt Nichols and Matt Kearns or whatever.
The ship has never been sinking. You wouldn't jump off it, mate.
It's crazy.
Why would you chuck those royalty checks
No,
off,
that is very true. But like, you just like you listen to the sort of shit or the sort of shit you don't hear him do because he's drowned out by hyperpop synths these days. Like, you like next music video, Lee Malia, just blink twice if you're in danger and you need help, mate. Like fucking hell. Like he shreds so much all over this record, and the lead work is incredible. The riffs are so exciting and interesting, and basically the rest of them are just kind of proficient. That's kind of the issue you have with Bring Me the Horizon when it comes to performance, is, you know, they can do enough to get by with what they're trying to achieve, but like the All Shall Perish are just on another level when it comes to like performance and ability. Like Job for a Cowboy got so much shit for after doing the Doom EP, like pivoting straight into just technical death metal. But why did no one ever pull All Shall Perish up on it? Like, what's going on there?
I wouldn't say that they're technical death metal. I think
they're
the only
far off it though, are they?
No, I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's just like that style. There's not a lot of like death in there. Do you know what I mean? Like the types of riffs. I mean, I don't know. I'm just talking shit. Like, I don't know what it's
I was going to say, you heard those blast beats, right? Like,
yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe it's saying that it in death metal is just complete horse shit out of my mouth. It just doesn't have like it doesn't have like. But again, it comes back to the atmosphere. It doesn't have the atmosphere of death metal. Like, what was Job for a Cowboy's first full length was Genesis.
Yeah.
That sounds like harrowing. That's got like that is like technical and cool, but when that brings out its atmosphere, it really does feel like, you know, what he's saying in that that kind of like ballady bit they do, where it's like there's the fucking a serpent rising from the fucking sea with on its head rested 10 crowns and stuff, and you get like, fuck hell, I'm there. I can see it all. It's like Revelation. Whereas like. It's with the All Shall Perish thing. There's only so many times I can hit with like not much else. Like it is fat,
I love that.
But it's
though.
one of those
things. I love that.
Well, no, but don't get me wrong. I do love it, but it's one of those albums where I'll really, really enjoy it if I listen to it in small bits.
That's fair. I mean,
yeah,
it's one of the. It's kind of like it's early Meshuggah, isn't it? It's like everyone gives Meshuggah shit because it's their fault that we have Gent, but it's also their fault we have stuff like this. Like, I mean, I'm not the person who says that. Trust me, I fucking love that shit. But I think it's like it's coming from what they used to do and pulling it in and making it technical, making it exciting, making it fucking change every fucking 10 seconds. And but I've always been a mark for that kind of thing. Like, I know it's kind of how music makes you feel. Like there's so many different ways that music can make you feel something. I like to feel like challenged by a lot of music that I listen to, and I feel like this All Shall Perish record challenges me because it's so technical, and they do, you know, there's not a single hint of what we were talking about with Carnifex, where you get like 16 bars of build up for a breakdown before the big sub drop. Like there's none of that. Breakdowns come out of nowhere, and I've always been a sucker for whenever that happens. Whenever I'm like, whoa, like you get whiplash off the breakdown. Like I've always loved that.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It's incredible.
This album sort of feels like it's being performed from the apocalypse, and that's what I've always that's where my head's always been at for this. It's not oozing out of a crypt. It's not sort of like on a mountain. It's very much in the actual front cover. Like that's exactly what I feel is doing this. It's
a post-apocalyptic world after the stock markets crash.
Yeah.
It turns out that
it's
we
like
were all
mid-combat. Like it feels like you're in combat, which is fat. Like it's very cool.
Yeah. Whoa, where'd that bullet come from? Whoa. Like...
So performance on this, I think, Ollie and Lee are killing it. Lee's killing it the most. But like for me, it's All Shall Perish. Like every person
record
is
versus record. I agree. All Shall
every
Perish
person is on
performance here. I mean, Eddie Hamida, incredible, and some outstanding musicians.
And the
we'll
bass,
go
man,
to it
like,
more before the final verdict as well. Like we will say a final piece on these.
yeah. The bass, when the bass pops out in this fucking All Surprise, you don't hear much of that in the Bring Me the Horizon record at all. When this comes out, and you can fucking really hear how technical the bass is. Like, I'm a sucker for that. Like, I wish I could hear more bass in death metal, but it's like fucking, it's fucking great.
Yes, and when he likes to come, there's that bit where it breaks down to just like drums and just the bass, and it's like, I love it. It's so noodly.
It's really good.
It's got almost got some of that like the Liquid like two-hand tap with the fretless kind of vibe going on. Like it sounds really cool. Like I think performance is all Shall Perish all day long.
Yeah. I think I think they're like the kind of more atmospheric, gloomier bits come from those bass bits as well, and they really stood out to me. They sounded creepy, and I liked that.
So the artwork. This is a weird one because the Bring Me record does not look like a deathcore record at all. It's like a girl at an aquarium with some bits and bobs going on, or like it's a little bit of a collage. Like this is like the things that she saw at the aquarium.
It could be like any genre, couldn't it?
Yeah,
it could be.
Absolutely.
It could be. Yeah, it could be literally anything. It could be like it could be the Kooks record or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was a really interesting choice. Like it is, it's absolutely a really interesting choice for a band at that point in their career that are, so heavily leaning into like sort of defined tropes and like genres that are sort of emerging. They're so. It's not like you can't classify this album, like but it's an interesting choice. Like I don't think it's great. Like if I'm comparing what one do I think is a better cover, it's like it's absolutely no contest, but this is an interesting choice.
See, I was looking at it and thinking, which one of them would I rather have on my wall? Like out of context, which one would I rather have on my wall? And I would definitely rather have the Count Your Blessings album cover on my wall. Like,
dude, I'd never realized you were such a fucking pussy.
What? Because I like fish. What's wrong with that? Fish are cool.
No, I mean just
aquariums are rad. Like
a cyborg ripping his face off.
The thing about the front cover of The Price of Existence is it looks like it was designed like on a computer, like a fucking Amstrad. Like it's just got it's so like dated in its sort of its design and its digital imagery. It's so like retro. Like I mean those dollar notes look really like ropily imposed over the top. Like art direction wise, The Price of Existence front cover kicks the shit out of the front cover of Count Your Blessings. But actually looking at what you're looking at, the Count Your Blessings front cover is better.
I always prefer an interesting cover than a generic death metal cover as well. Yeah. I don't know if it's just the colours, but like I get the same kind of feeling as I did from the As Blood Runs Black one. And I'm just wondering if I just like blue and green.
You got the eyesight of a dog, is that why?
Like
colorblind. It's the only ones you could see.
My favourite thing is almost on the All Shall Perish one, it's almost at the text at the bottom where it's like The Price of Existence. Like that is like that exact style is like that sort of like 90s style that bands like Final Resting Place and things like that at the moment are sort of bringing back.
It's definitely that aesthetic, isn't it? Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it looks like it was made on a computer, like so obviously. But yeah, I just love it. It's a bloody like cyborg geezer ripping his face off, and it's all. It's
the whole like message behind this.
If I was going to buy one of them, it would 100% be that one.
Yeah, well, you're very, very biased by it. It's like one of your favorite albums ever. Are you? Like, that's the trouble we've got here, son. But like honestly, like the whole like the cybernetic enhancements to make you better at making money for the government kind of vibe that they've got going on the All Shall Perish front cover is a very cool. And it all kind of feeds into the whole message of the album, and obviously you got like the themes of the songs and stuff.
Cohesive. You're right.
It all is a cohesive thing. But I always think like, no matter what they're doing in their music these days, Bring Me the Horizon, like visually, they have always been really cool. Like they do cool music videos, they've got interesting, like when they play live these days and they have like the sort of retro futurist kind of like 90s video game kind of vibe going on with all of the stuff that they've got going. Like they've always known like the visuals. Obviously, Ollie's got a very successful clothing company. He knows what's going on, and that's something that they're very, very good at. And I think that they took a swing, and actually, I think it hit. I think that front cover of Count Your Blessings is really cool. And for a band who are so clearly influenced by like old school heavy metal and the Black Dahlia Murder to kind of go in a completely opposite direction takes bottle.
Yeah.
And I think I'd probably come down on the Count Your Blessings as my favourite of the two.
If you took away the writing, any of the logos or anything off the album covers, what looks more iconic? Like, I feel like the All Shall Perish one's fat, but it could be like any metal band at the time with the style that it was doing. Whereas the Count Your Blessings, it's like very standout. You're like, oh, that's definitely Count Your Blessings. Like,
yeah, I'm happy to take a 2-1 loss on that one. If that's where we're going, that's fine. I can't argue that it does. Yeah, it could be anyone's.
Well,
it could be anyone's
like
cover. It's iconic to me, but yeah, I understand it. I am looking through just uber rose-colored glasses. Yeah, I'm fucking Matt Murdock over here, mate. To be honest.
Respect to you, but that's the right though, because that puts us on a draw overall, because there was a draw category 1 in songs. Performance goes to All Shall Perish and artwork goes to Bring Me, so we're at a draw. So now we've got a decider.
So which record's the heaviest? I mean,
which record is the hardest?
Yeah, the hardest. Sorry, not the heaviest. The hardest. The hardest record. I mean, I don't even need to say. I want to know what you guys think.
I want to, Alex, can you go first? Because I'm not entirely sure I know the answer yet.
Okay, it's hard, this, isn't it? I think
it's really hard.
I think in like individual segments, All Shall Perish is harder.
Nice.
I think, look, because obviously technical music like that it's not really hard. It's not. We're not talking like Despised Icon where it's like big and brutish. It's like I'm kind of looking at it as the intent behind it, and I feel like the intent behind Bring Me the Horizon was to be a bit cheeky and have a good time, whereas the intent behind All Shall Perish is to like chop your head off. So I'm kind of maybe thinking that I might be leaning towards All Shall Perish for the hardest of the two. I think I
think if you took your nan and you played one track of each, at what point would she likely to be sick? I think All Shall Perish. She's gonna dirty herself
for a second.
Yeah.
You know, she might go, oh, these boys are quite nice on the Bring Me stuff. She might get into the hooks a bit and start clapping along, but All Shall Perish, she's just going to fall over, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought we've broken Alex's heart now.
I just feel like as an album, Bring the Horizon.
Yeah, we can get into.
Yeah,
we'll say that one's the heaviest we're agreeing. So yeah, just like final verdicts and stuff now, really. Like, for me, yeah, All Shall Perish, just timeless technical deathcore masterpiece. Bring Me it's really hook soaked. It's very emotionally charged. It's very cheeky, and you can absolutely see these just nuggets of just sheer gold that he was crafting with all the really cool hooks and just knowing his way around how to make moments in that record. And that is absolutely undeniable. But for me, it does fall on All Shall Perish. It's just unbeatable, I think.
Which album do you think had the most influence on people?
Because
I think that was Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, probably is.
Probably Bring Me the Horizon had more influence, I would say. Yeah. Yeah.
But then they also,
but that's just because of who they were.
Yeah,
and like that's just because of who they were and exploded, and people's eyes were on them. Like they were. All Shall Perish were a band that they kind of got launched because of this record. Like, so you know, they were massive at the EP. Like, this was always going to sort of shape the at least UK heavy music scene for a few years, if not like the entire sort of Myspace scene, like worldwide. So
I
I'm
know
still honestly like
I know when I'm beat.
it's. I think we've been as fair as we could. It's a tough old matchup, boys. And you know, I'm not saying I'm still like I don't think that just because there's a harsh weight in any of the 4 segments, it has to go one way. I think it can still be nuanced, and we don't need to like. There can be extenuating circumstances.
I feel like maybe we might have to take this one to the people. I think we might have to put this one to a public vote, because I'm really on the fence. I'm really, really on the fence about which way I'm coming down. I mean, and I'm kind of the deciding vote right now, because obviously Alex is going, bring me, you're going, all shall perish, and I'm the deciding vote, and I don't really know which way to go. So I might need to plead the fifth, and take it to a public vote.
We can't start doing that.
You're going to filibuster.
All right.
No, we need a decision, man. We need a decision.
Come on, 2025. Gary is saying all shall perish is the better of the two.
I can see.
I'm trying to be as objective and you putting on my hat that knows everything, so much more about all the different styles and genres of these bands. And I'm falling all shall perish. Sorry,
but that's it. It's the problem with fucking subjective things, isn't it? Like, obviously, I look for different stuff in metal than what the next person does.
Yeah.
But yeah, three is fair, and I concede.
And if you disagree with us, just give us a roasted in the comments. Go for it.
Yeah, and I genuinely can't express how much joy that like listening to that premium record with like fresh eyes has really brought me. And I'm absolutely going to be continuing to listen to it for a while. Like, it's been so much fun. I was driving around yesterday listening to it, blaring it out loud. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Boom, we did it, boys. Fucking good work. That was
hard work as well.
That was tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the temperature or it's just the stress of it, but I'm sweating even more now.
Yeah, we're putting in the fucking graph so you don't have to.
Yes. Hell yeah. Now that was really, really fun, boys. I think we did a good job. I think just let us know what you think. We would enjoy your comments. Come on down to the old Discord, have a chat about it. It's a lovely place to learn about new music and chat about old shit and do whatever you want, really. Give us a bloody subscribe, please. That would be fucking nice.
Just fucking do it.
Just do it,
click the
mate.
fucking button.
Just do it, man. Just do it.
It's not hard.
Also, this isn't the first. This is a part of a series, and there's a playlist of all the other videos. So if you've come here because you're a Bring Me the Horizon fan, and we've just really upset you, probably not actually interested, and we just really upset you. But if you have, there's a playlist of the other episodes, and it'd be cool if you checked them out.
Yeah, and we're working through a lot of these records to find the ultimate Myspace Deathcore record. I can't remember what's up next week, but I'm looking forward to a bit, a collision that I don't really have as much investment in.
Yeah.
Something that you can be a bit more subjective about. Like,
I think we need that.
I think that's what we're going to have to do next,
so we can all stay friends.
Yeah, that's what I felt about this one. Like neither of them. Like, I like both of them. They were big, like really important for me growing up. But there was never something I stuck with that much. So it really is like looking back in time for me, this one. So I wasn't like super invested in this, but it was funny how like difficult it actually turned out to be. Yeah, I'm excited for the next matchup.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
We'll see you then.
We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.